Hello learners, I Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this video lesson. Today we are going to discuss one of the very pertinent title, that is test, its concept, types and uses. So friends, as you know that we are presently in the 7th week, and in the 7th week we are now studying about the 7th module. The title of the 7th module is Tools for Assessment and Evaluation, and in this 7th module, in the module of Tools for Assessment and Evaluation, two video lessons are there. First is test, its concept, types and uses, and the second video lesson is tools, that is concept of the tool, types of the tool and uses of the tool. And at present in this lesson we will focus upon test, okay, its concept, types and uses. So friends, the learning outcomes of this video lesson, that is after going through this video lesson, you will be able to discuss the concept of test and tools. What is the concept of a test and what is the concept of a tool? Then differentiate between paper, pencil and oral test, the concept of paper, pencil test and oral test, and what is the difference between these two. Then you will be able to explain the concept of aptitude test, their types, uses and limitations. Then you will be able to discuss and administer the aptitude, achievement and diagnostic test, and further you will be able to explain the concept of intelligent test, its types, uses and limitations. So now let us focus upon our first content point, that is what is a test. The tests are those instruments by which the teachers collect information as data through verbal and non-verbal responses of the students. So friends, for knowing the performance of the learners, for knowing the progress of the learners, so what you are doing, you are just administering certain tests upon them. Okay, if I will give the example of achievement, to know the achievement level of the students, what you are doing, you are just administering, you are preparing an achievement test and you are administering that achievement test upon the group of learners. And here the items that you will select for knowing the progress or for knowing the achievement of the students should be related to different subject and related to the objective areas of the tools also, and it includes both verbal and non-verbal responses. Okay, so verbal responses, that means many a time we also establish a certain interaction with the students, and many a time we also give certain questions which is related to a figure, related to a map, related to a chart. So that's why it is possible both in verbal and non-verbal responses of the students. And further we can say that a test is an instrument or systematic procedure for measuring a sample of behavior. This definition is given by Groenland, N.E. Groenland 1990, and N.E. Groenland focuses upon a test is an instrument or systematic procedure for measuring a sample of behavior. So what we are doing, we prepared a test for measuring behavior, for measuring different aspects of behavior, a sample of behavior. Okay, and that behavior may be in a form of achievement, that behavior may be in a form of aptitude, attitude, creativity. Okay, so here by using a tool you will be able to measuring the sample behavior of the individuals. And further, a psychological test is defined as a standardized, repeatable procedures used to elicit and measure samples of human behavior. This definition is given by Katzdin 2000. So here a standardized psychological test is defined as a standardized tool, repeatable procedures. It means the tool will be used repeatedly. Okay, many a time in different places and in different situations you can also administer, you can use that tool. To understand more about what is a test, we can say that a test measures the following. So what are the different abilities a test measures? First of all, human abilities, that includes intelligence, aptitude, skills and achievement in various areas, which is measured by a test, and further personality characteristics, which includes different traits or different attitude traits or attitudes or interest and values. Okay, attitude of the teachers towards the school, attitude of the students towards the curriculum, attitude of the students towards their studies. So friends, many traits, we can measure many mental traits. It may be self-concept, it may be aptitude, it may be attitude. So all these are the personality characteristics. So that also come under a test. And further we can say adjustment and mental health, which involves detecting signs and symbols of psychological and neurological disorders and appraising the effectiveness of the psychological functioning. So here adjustment and mental health is also a type of test. We can just find out whether a person is mentally healthy or not, whether the person is an adjustable person or not, whether the person is having the quality of adjustment in different situation or not. So that's why we can just develop a test for measuring all such aspect: intelligence, aptitude, skills, achievement, then different traits, then attitude, interest and values, and adjustment and mental health. Okay, let us go forward. Then further, to understand more about a test, we can say that two broad objectives of a test are there. Firstly, it attempts to compare the same student on two or more than two aspects of a trait, okay, such as attitude and aptitude of the same student. So what you can do, you can administer many traits, you can administer many variable or many tests upon a similar group of students, upon some students, upon the same students. So what you will do, varieties of tools will be used upon one student. So in result, you can say that the student X is having had secured this much of score in science, then is having positive attitude towards the schooling system, towards schooling or towards the teacher, and the student is having intelligence as well as other aspect also. So here in a test, so far as its objective is concerned, that different variables, different tests can be measured upon a same student. And further, secondly, two or more than two students may be compared on the same trait like attitude of two students. Try to understand. So here what you have to do, you have to take more than two students, but in the earlier cases you are just taking the same student. So here you have to take more than two students. Then what you have to do, you have to administer the same tool or the same test upon the group of students. Okay, and you will compare so far as attitude is concerned, so far as achievement is concerned, what is the performance of different students. So in both the ways you can do it. You can administer many tools upon a same student, and you can administer a single tool upon two students so far as better comparison is concerned. Then further, so far as paper pencil test is concerned, we can say that these are the certain tests that can be done by using paper and pencil, that is attitude, intelligence, subject wise criterion test, then achievement and aptitude. So now try to understand the specific use of paper pencil test and oral test. So before discussing, before differentiating these two, let me to make it clear, let me to discuss the concept of an oral test. So friends, response, solution or the task requires oral response to answer the question is an oral test. So oral test means many a time we involve in many interactions. Okay, so we respond, we provide our response to the teacher. Okay, so oral response, we provide our oral response to the teacher to answer the question in an oral test, just like in an interview. If the board will ask you certain question, then you have to answer it. And further, teachers conversation with the students for the purpose of assessment, assessment component of viva voce examination. So here try to understand, here the viva voce examination. So when teacher conducts viva examination, it means teacher's conversation with the students are happened, and this is an example of the oral test. And further we can say figures, diagrams, charts, maps, models, signs, etc. can also be used for asking students to explain the concept covered in it. So many a time in oral test, you see, the test will not given in pen and pencil just like the universal use of the test, but here what you have to do, instead of giving pen and paper, you can just give the question in terms of a figure, in terms of a diagram, in terms of a chart, map or muscles. Okay, so here maps, models and signs, and here the subject or the students will go through the figures and they will give their response. They will analyze it, they will explain the figure and they will give their response. And further, oral test have prepared most valuable when used with students having language disabilities, the illiterates, shy feeling and young children. So many a time you will find that when you want to collect certain data from the language disabled learners, from the illiterates who are not able to write, who are not able to read, better what you will do, you have to interact with them, you have to ask certain questions to them. And many a time shy feeling and young children, you will find that few children, they are not coming contact and they are not talking, they are not comfortable to write. Okay, so for them what you have to do, you can also use upon them an oral test. And further, oral testing is particularly important in language classes because spoken language plays an important role to express oneself. Okay, to know the language ability skill, you can also use the oral test so far as language classes are concerned. Then further, now let us focus upon the aptitude test. Aptitude, what does it mean? Aptitude tests are used to predict the future performance of the students on different criteria and abilities. To know the future performance, that means let the students or let the children are having certain abilities, whether how to know those abilities, how to know whether they will do better in the future. So that's why we have to measure the aptitude. Aptitude are the potential form, you can say the abilities are in the potential form that is within the individual, and when environment, when the individual receives the environment, gets the environment, then definitely the aptitude that the individual having, that come to the force. Okay, that come to the light. Further we can say aptitude test may be type of teaching aptitude, may be mechanical aptitude, may be a medical aptitude, or may be musical aptitude and other types of aptitude also. So here when we talk about aptitude test, it means it covers different areas. To know student will do well in medical, so we develop one aptitude test, that is the medical aptitude test, and we administer the medical aptitude test. And friends, for in the entrance examination, to know the entry behavior of the learners, to know the characteristics of the learners, whether they are able to be a teacher in future, able to be a management professional in future, able to be a mechanic in the future, able to be a teacher in future. So what you have to do, you have to administer certain aptitude test, okay, to know their aptitude, which is potential form. Okay, but when it will get a right environment, then the aptitude will transform as abilities. Okay, and further the aptitude tests are also used for guidance as well as prediction of success in some occupation. Then further it may be of two types of aptitude test. One is called as the multiple aptitude test and other is called as the special aptitude test. So friends, multiple aptitude test, it means it measures different areas of aptitude. So here aptitude has been fixed, but what you have to do in multiple aptitude test, you have to measure different areas, different aspects of aptitude. Okay, it may be in teaching, it may be in mechanical, it may be in creativity. So different questions from different aspects, different aptitude aspects will be included in a test. So that's called as a multiple aptitude test. And special aptitude test, it measures, you can say it measures aptitude of a single area, aptitude in mathematics, aptitude in science, aptitude, general mental aptitude, or you can say aptitude in other areas also. So here specifically you are just focusing upon one aspect or one subject. Okay, so but here you are not selecting items, you are not selecting questions from different areas. Let us go forward. Further, to understand about achievement test, we can say that achievement test can be used for the following purpose. First of all, to know the learning progress of the students, to check any weaknesses in the instructional process, to formulate learning objectives and provide an easy measure of critical examination of the content and the models of teaching. Then for the methods of teaching, further to adapt the instruction to the need of the individual learner, and the last can say purpose is to know the effectiveness of any academic program. So here what you have to do to know the purpose of the achievement test, first of all you can use it for measuring the learning progress, for knowing the learning progress, knowing the weaknesses of the students where they are facing difficulties. Then it is based upon certain objectives. To know the effectiveness of any program also, we conduct achievement test. And further, achievement test can also be classified as general achievement test and special achievement test. General achievement test is called as a achievement test battery. That means here you will find that questions are taken from different areas. It may be from reasoning, it may be from general knowledge of general awareness, it may be from language skill, and it may be from, you can say, from other subject areas also. And for special achievement test, so here you have to focus upon only one aspect. If it is science, then achievement related to science. If it is social science, achievement related to social science. And further, the other types of achievement test are just like teacher-made achievement test and standardized achievement test. I have already discussed in my earlier video lesson that what is a teacher-made achievement test, what is a standardized achievement test. And here, so far as type of achievement test is concerned, it is of two types. Okay, teacher-made and standardized. Further, to go forward, these are the certain limitations of the achievement test. Scores in the achievement test may not be the exact matter of achievement in the concerned field, as there is subjectivity in assessment. So friends, so far as assessment in science, education, social science and psychology is concerned, you will find that most assessment are subjective in nature. So that's why this is also another important aspect, that when you are preparing a tool and the scores that the learners are getting, because of the subjectivity in the assessment, you cannot say that that is the exact score. And further, many factors such as standard of teaching, completion of curriculum, testing condition, prior information to the students, practice of the students, etc. may affect the students' achievement, but those factors may not be measured by the achievement test. Another limitation of an achievement test is achievement scores of students differ in similar types of achievement test. There may be the possibility that a student scores differently in different achievement tests meant for the same class. So many a time from the same subject, from the same standard, if you prepare two equivalent tests and if you administer that test upon the group of students, you will find that the students will score differently. So that's why these are the certain common or general limitation of an achievement test. And further, our focus is on to discuss to understand about the diagnostic remedial test. Achievement tests which are used to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students are also called as diagnostic tests. So through diagnostic test, what we measure, what we identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students. So what are the different strengths and what are the different weaknesses? So if there is the weaknesses, then we have to find out the causes of the weaknesses. Then accordingly we have to provide the remedial measure. And that's why it's called as a diagnostic remedial test. First of all, you have to diagnose the causes, then as per the causes, you have to provide the remedial instruction, remedial measure. And further we can say that primary purpose of the test is to identify the problems faced by the students in achieving the learning objectives and to suggest a remedial measure for them. And such tests are available in various subject areas of the study, such as in language, mathematics, science, etc. So if the students are not, or if a particular student is not doing well in language, in mathematics and science, so what you have to do first? First you have to administer a diagnostic test to find out, administer one achievement test to find out the weaknesses. Then as per the weaknesses, you have to find out by using the diagnostic test that what are the different causes. Then after getting the causes, then you have to provide the remedial instruction. Okay, in school you might be doing, you might have observed that a group of students, those are not as per with others, those are not reaching at a particular level, you will find that the school is providing certain extra treatment to them, and you might be engaged in providing extra treatment to that group of students. So that's why, friends, here the remedial instruction, the remedial measure is given after diagnosing the causes. An example we can discuss here: if a student scores 90 marks in mathematics in class 9th annual examination, but if you observe as a teacher that the same student scored 70 marks in mathematics in class 10th quarterly examination, you see in class 9th annual examination it was 90, but in the first quarterly examination in class 10th it becomes 70, then it become again 50 in half yearly examination, then further it reduced and become 30 marks in pre-board examination. You see it starts from 90, then it reaches at the 70, then 50, then 30. So there may be certain problem, there may be certain causes. So to find out the causes, you have to administer a diagnostic test, and after diagnosing the causes of low performance or securing low mark by the particular student, then again you have to provide the remedial instruction, remedial measure. Now let us go forward to understand about the concept of intelligence. So friends, here intelligence can be understood as a general set of mental traits which is often reported as the general mental ability, the mental ability of the students, and that is also general mental ability of the students. It is general mental ability, that's why it includes general knowledge, general awareness, reasoning, language abilities, arithmetic, computational skills, algebra and other areas of studies also. So what you have to do in intelligence test, you will find that the questions are arranged in different components, in different sections, and you will find that the sections may be the questions from different sections may be from general knowledge, general awareness, reasoning ability of the learner, then language ability or the language skill, then from computational skills, and some total you can say the performance of the learners in all such areas will determine the general mental ability of the learners, and we can measure intelligence of the learners. Intelligence can be measured by using both the individual test or group test of intelligence. Individual test means the test will be administered at a time upon only one you can say student or subject, and group test, that means the intelligence test can be used upon group of students at the same time. So this is just the applicability and functions of the test, that we can administer it upon a single group, single child, single student, or upon a group. Then so far as measurement of intelligence is concerned, that's called as intelligence quotient, that is IQ. We usually use this word, that what is the IQ of the student, what is the IQ of a 9th standard student. So what does it mean? IQ mean intelligence quotient. So here try to understand that how to find out, how to determine the IQ of the student. So here you see, intelligence of an individual can be measured by using the following intelligence quotient, that's called as the IQ. The formula is IQ is equal to mental age upon chronological age into 100. Okay, so mental age divided by chronological age into 100. So three concepts are here, two concepts are here. One is the mental age and other is the chronological age. So friends, try to understand what is the concept of mental age and what is the concept of chronological age. So here, so far as chronological age is concerned, that is the exact age of the individual whose intelligence will be measured. This can be calculated counting the age from the date of birth of the individual. Chronological age of a child never varies. So chronological age means it will be counted, it will be calculated from the very birth of the child. Okay, from the very birth you can just calculate whether the child is at the age of 10, at the age of 12, whether the adolescent is at the age of 16 or at the age of 17. That you can count. That's the exact age of the child. That's the chronological age. But it never varies, because the calculations of chronological age are done from the birth. But mental age varies. Mental age is calculated by comparing a child's obtained score from the intelligence test with the average score at his or her age level. Just like you have administered a test and let an intelligence test for 8th standard student, or for, you can select for 14th age group student. So 14th age group students, what should be the average? What should be the average intelligence? Okay, or let in an achievement test, let the average score is 70 in a test of 14th age group student. If a particular student achieves 70 in that test, then you can say that his or her mental age is 70. But many a time you will find that a 14th age group students is not able to score 70, or a 15th age group student is also not able to score 70. So that's why here mental age may be vary. Okay, a lower age student, if he or she is able to solve the problems or the questions or the test which is meant for a higher age group, then definitely mental age will be more. So a chronological age of 10 years of a child, his or her mental age may be less than 10 or may be more than 10 also. If the mental age is more than the chronological age, so far as the formula is concerned, MA by CA into 100, then intelligence will be more. And if mental age is less than the chronological age, then intelligence will be intelligence of the child will be less. Then further, so far as interpretation of IQ is concerned, we can say that the intelligence quotient score range is, if it is under 70, we can say that he or she will come under the category of feeble mindedness, and if it is within 70 to 79, then it is in borderline. If it is 80 to 89, it is in dullness. If it is 90 to 109, it is in the category of average or normal, and if it is 110 to 119, then is in the superior category. If it is 120 to 140, then very superior group or category. Then if it is over 140, then you can say that the child is genius or almost genius. So friends, accordingly you can find out the intelligence or the IQ of a test by administering intelligence test, okay, by defining the mental age as well as the chronological age. So friends, just to recapitulate, today we discussed about test, its uses, and the different types of test. We discussed about oral test, we discussed about paper and pencil test, and further we discussed about aptitude test, we discussed about attitude, we discussed about intelligence, achievement, and further how to measure intelligence, how to find out the intelligence quotient. And in our next lesson we will discuss about different types of tools and how it is different from a test. So friends, for further queries you can write to me niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can make me a telephone call. My intercom is 2994. You can go through my Facebook account, my YouTube channel and my Twitter handle. You will find more than 200 video lessons relating to your study, relating to your curriculum. Okay, be it curriculum. At the same time, the video lessons are from different other areas of education, and I'm hopeful that the video lessons will help you a lot for your study. Thank you.